you always begin at the grammar when you read a story, whether that book is a grammar level book that is
Mhm.
intended for grammar school students, or if it's War and Peace, you always start at the beginning and asking the basic fundamental questions.
Can you give us maybe the 3 top questions that we can ask to our children to teach them how to think well, how to learn well, and as they're reading stories and starting from, picture books,
Yes.
going all the way through more intense classics, what questions should we be asking them?
That's a really good question. And it's really at the heart of teaching stories at any grade level. The reason that we start with children's picture storybooks in teaching mom and dad
Mhm.
is because they're the same in terms of their organization, the kinds of questions that you ask. The only difference is that the questions that let me say it this way: the books at the more at the higher levels, they support a longer conversation. You can ask more
Mhm.
questions, okay?
Right.
But you always begin at the grammar when you read a story, whether that book is a grammar level book that is
Mhm.
intended for grammar school students, or if it's War and Peace, you always start at the beginning and asking the basic fundamental questions. And those are, who's that main character in the
Mhm.
story? Who's the protagonist? Who's the story about primarily? Whose career does the story follow? Whose questions does the story seek to answer, right? What is it that he wants? What is he looking for? Is he on a quest? Is he trying to solve a problem? Is there a physical object that he's trying to attain? Is he trying to correct a problem within himself? And there are only 5 different types of problems that a story can actually be about. And we can teach our kids to recognize categorically the different conflicts at the base of story, because conflict really is the thing that drives a story. It's like the engine that pulls the train of the story to its conclusion. No conflict, no story. Okay. So we want to teach the kids to ask who that main character is, what he wants, why he can't have it, what are the obstacles that he needs to face in order to achieve the object in the story, and without which the story becomes a tragedy as opposed to a comedy, right? And then how are those obstacles overcome? So who's the main character? What does he want? Why can't he have it? How does he overcome those obstacles? And the how question really does crack open the thematic ideas in the story. When we look at how the problem is solved, we begin to understand what the author is contributing to the conversation about whatever the topic the story is engaging with, right? If
Yeah.
it's a story about friendship, then the climactic moment of the story is going to tell us a little bit about how friendship is achieved, or how the author understands a friendship in terms of, is it predicated on sacrificial love, or on sharing, like in A Bargain for Francis? Or is it,
Sure.
what's the nature of friendship? How does the climactic moment resolve the fundamental problem in the story? And what kinds of comments does that lead you to make regarding the author's understanding of what a friendship is?
Yeah. It's so interesting as you're talking about that. I'm thinking about our own lives, like just
Hmm.
as normal humans,
Yes,
because our life really does follow that same pattern. It doesn't have to be a book about someone else, but we are the protagonist in our own story.
yes, yes,
There always is
absolutely.
some sort of conflict or, something going on. Not that there's always bad things going on, but as humans, we're always trying to do something. We're always trying to solve something,
Yes,
whether it's a mom who's got a dirty diaper or, well, not herself, but has a baby with a dirty
right, yes,
diaper.
yes.
Or homeschooling our kids or doing the laundry. And then we have to figure out the ways to solve that problem. And so it's really cool to think of it that way, and how incredibly creative of God, right?
Hmm.
To create our lives as our own story, our very
Yes.
own story. And we talk a lot about that, just in our family, and how like God is writing our story
Hmm.
still. We get to be the main character, and God is writing our stories beautifully and perfectly. And there's bumps and hills and valleys, and I mean, all sorts of interesting and exciting adventures in each one of our stories. But we get to show the goodness of God and bring it all in the end. He's going to end our story somehow, and it all gets to close up, with him as God as creator of our own lives, in
Yes.
the very end. And so how
And the
fun to get to.
hero in our story.
Yes, yeah, he gets to be the hero. Absolutely. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.